Welcome to the discussion. Today we're diving into a fascinating, albeit slightly unsettling question. What would happen to Earth if humanity suddenly vanished? It's a thought experiment that blends science, history, and a touch of apocalyptic fiction.
It's a question that has captivated thinkers for centuries, appearing in myths and religious texts. But now, with our profound understanding of our environmental impact, it takes on a new urgency.
Exactly. The article explores this in detail, painting a picture of what our planet might look like without us. What are some of the immediate effects you'd expect to see?
The immediate impact would be dramatic. Our infrastructure, reliant on constant human maintenance, would begin to crumble. Power grids would fail, water systems would collapse, and cities would flood.
So, rapid descent into chaos, essentially. But what about the longer-term consequences? How long would the evidence of our civilization last? The article highlights the varying lifespans of different structures, what would be the first to go, and what might endure for centuries.
Wooden structures, especially those built with lower quality materials in recent decades, would decay relatively quickly, particularly in humid climates. Steel and glass skyscrapers would last longer, but even they are vulnerable to flooding and corrosion.
And what about those iconic structures we often associate with lasting civilizations?
Sturdy stone buildings would likely stand the longest, but even they would eventually succumb to the forces of nature. Think of the ruins of ancient civilizations. They give us a glimpse into this process.
It's a sobering thought. The article mentions roads as surprisingly persistent features. Why is that?
Major highways, especially in dry, stable areas, are massively over-engineered. While they'd crack and deteriorate, their sheer size would allow them to persist for a considerable time.
Beyond what's visible on the surface, what about structures buried by sediment?
Burial significantly increases the longevity of artifacts. Structures and objects covered by sediment are protected from the elements and would last far longer than those exposed to the surface.
And what about the more subtle, lasting traces of our existence?
We'd leave behind technofossils, durable metals, and plastics, along with geological evidence of our impact on the climate and sea levels. These would provide a record of our presence for millions of years.
The article also addresses the potential impact of nuclear power plants. What's the likely scenario if these plants were left unattended?
Many active nuclear plants would likely experience meltdowns without maintenance. However, while the immediate impact would be devastating locally, the scale of the Earth is such that the overall effect on global life would likely be relatively minor.
So, even a large-scale nuclear disaster wouldn't necessarily trigger a global extinction event?
The Chernobyl disaster, while horrific, affected a relatively small area compared to the size of the planet. Life, as we've seen, is remarkably resilient.
What about the fate of other species? Which animals and plants would be most affected by our disappearance?
Species that have co-evolved with humans, like head lice and bedbugs, would likely disappear. Domesticated animals would struggle to survive without human intervention, while many endangered species, whose survival depends on human conservation efforts, would face a grim future.
But overall, what's the prognosis for life on Earth?
Life would continue. While we've caused a mass extinction event, life has rebounded from far worse events in the past. The survivors would likely be generalist species, small, adaptable, and resilient.
The article mentions that climate change would persist for millennia even after our disappearance. Why is that?
The effects of climate change are not easily reversed. Even if greenhouse gas emissions ceased immediately, the planet's temperature would take thousands of years to return to pre-industrial levels. Feedback loops, like methane release from thawing permafrost, would further extend this timeline.
So our legacy would be felt for an incredibly long time.
Indeed. Pollution, climate change, and the geological record of our activities would all leave lasting marks on the planet.
The article concludes by considering the longevity of human artifacts, even beyond Earth. What's the most enduring legacy we might leave?
The Voyager spacecraft, designed to travel through interstellar space, might be the longest-lasting human artifacts. They carry a record of our civilization, potentially reaching other worlds in the distant future.
A message in a bottle sent to the cosmos. A fitting, if somewhat ironic, end to the discussion. The article emphasizes the resilience of life. Even after the most devastating extinction events, life has always found a way to rebound. What does this tell us about the planet's capacity for recovery?
It highlights the inherent tenacity of life on Earth. While human activity has had a profound and largely negative impact, the planet's ecosystems possess a remarkable capacity for regeneration given sufficient time.
It's a powerful reminder of the planet's ability to heal, even in the face of catastrophic change. The article underscores the profound and lasting impact humans have had on the planet. What are some of the most significant ways we've altered the Earth's systems?
Our impact is multifaceted. We've altered the composition of the atmosphere, leading to climate change. We've driven countless species to extinction. We've transformed landscapes through agriculture and urbanization. Our influence is pervasive and long lasting.
The article suggests that generalist species, those adaptable to a wide range of conditions, are most likely to thrive in a post-human world. What are some examples of such species?
Rats, for instance, are highly adaptable and resourceful. They can exploit various food sources and thrive in diverse environments. Many insects and microorganisms also possess remarkable adaptability.
So, a world potentially dominated by smaller, more adaptable creatures. Looking ahead, what's the ultimate fate of Earth, even without human influence?
The Earth's long-term fate is tied to the sun. Billions of years from now, as the sun expands into a red giant, the inner planets will become uninhabitable. But even then, the geological record of our presence will likely remain.
A testament to our impact, etched into the very fabric of the planet. This thought experiment, while unsettling, serves a valuable purpose. What insights does it offer us about our relationship with the planet?
It forces us to confront the scale of our impact and the fragility of our civilization. It highlights the need for sustainable practices and responsible stewardship of the planet.
A call to action, disguised as a thought experiment. The article concludes by emphasizing the resilience of life and the enduring nature of our impact on Earth. What are your final thoughts on this topic?
It's a complex and multifaceted issue, but the key takeaway is the need for a profound shift in our relationship with the planet. We need to act responsibly and sustainably to mitigate our impact and ensure a healthy future for both humanity and the planet.
A powerful message indeed. Thank you for sharing your expertise and insights on this crucial topic.
You're welcome.
It's been a fascinating discussion.
My pleasure.
That was a great discussion.